I ruined my sister-in-law's honeymoon because I decided to tell everyone just how racist she is. I'm 27 and my sister-in-law is 30, got married last weekend. She's my long-term boyfriend's sister. They're white and I'm Middle Eastern, and a dark one with raven black hair. She was looking for a photographer that did not bankrupt her. So I suggested a friend of mine who's new in business and charged less than half, because there's things that cost over $5,000 these days. She was excited and I set a group chat with her and my photographer friend. We talked a little and later they met and started messaging directly to each other. The wedding was amazing and everything went smoothly. I was one of the guests and she seemed happy. The next day, they went off to their honeymoon. I don't know if it was by mistake, but instead of texting the photographer directly like she's done for the past few months, she texted him to our old iMessage chat. She thanked him, but had a favor to ask him, and wondered whether he could retouch up some asymmetry in the flower archway. But also, if he could take me off some photos because I'm too dark, and ruin the color palette. Not all pictures, just the one she's in. I texted back, are you kidding me? She did not answer, and I took a screenshot and posted on my Insta story tagging her in it. She called my boyfriend crying her eyes out, calling me an a-hole for embarrassing her on social media and ruining her honeymoon. Boyfriend thought it was a low blow, but I was blinded with rage when I did it. But even now, I'm calm. I still don't feel that I was the a-hole. But people have been contacting her apparently, asking if she really wrote this. She's so beautiful and successful, so please don't blame it on jealousy or scare of being outshined. What's up guys, Mr. Reddito here. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. There is an update for this story, and let me just tell you, it's cooking up. This story is about to set fire. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet, and let's hop into this update. First of all, sister-in-law is still on her honeymoon, so I haven't talked to her yet. But she's bombarding my boyfriend, demanding I apologize, and make a new Insta story with my apology. More people got involved, including my boyfriend's mother, that thought I was way out of line, ruining her own daughter's wedding. I've also got contacted by my sister-in-law's friends. Some of them told me stories about what she's been talking about behind my back. Yeah, she got what she deserved. The amount of her friends that weren't surprised at all with her text made it very clear for me that I was not wrong. My sister-in-law is self-employed with some foreign customers. That's why she's taking it so hard. She's scared that it could affect her career. I don't feel like I need to save her career, and should anything happen. My photographer friend just did what he was told. That's the only right way in my opinion. Being professional and not confuse work with his own values. He asked me if I wanted him to say something, and I said no. I asked him not to tell me what they're texting since she's his client, so he shouldn't break confidentiality. He just started his career and he'll meet worse brides. She was at least nice to him throughout her interaction. And number 3, now to my boyfriend. As I said, he thought this whole thing was uncomfortable. I told him if he really wanted to be with me, he needed to discuss uncomfortable topics. He opened up. It was actually deeper than this. This has happened before. His uncle is very rich, and for his 60th birthday, he had a very big party. As a thank you, we received thank you cards with our pictures on it professionally taken. I remember this picture because his uncle had a red carpet moment when guests were photographed upon their arrival. Later, we went to my boyfriend's mother to see the rest of the photos, and guess what? I wasn't in any of them. I thought it was funny how I literally evaded being caught on camera. I never mentioned this or even reflected on it, and while my boyfriend and his family were looking at the pictures and discussing everything that evening, it was just so normal. No one mentioned something out of the ordinary. Today, he told me that I was photoshopped off the picture. Everyone in his family knew it but me. At that time, They just thought the uncle could choose whoever he wanted to have in the pictures, and they moved on. And here's the conversation between OP and boyfriend. But you kept it all from me. Yeah. So you must have thought it was hurtful? I did. I asked my family not to tell you. And we continued going to that uncle, celebrated Christmas, Easter, and vacations with him? You didn't feel offended on my behalf? And now you think it's okay that your sister's doing the same. I didn't think of it that way. I know my sister. She's not a racist. If it wasn't racist, why is she feeling embarrassed now? You think what she did was alright? Oh, of course not. Will you just stand and watch then when this happens to our children? Of course not. Well, guys, I know my boyfriend very well. He's very kind, and I never felt he was racist in any way. I know he's not stupid and is aware of these things, which makes it worse, because it just means he doesn't care enough. I asked him why he did not care enough, and he said he was so sorry, but he knows me to be a strong girl that never let the petty things affect her. Well, he's right. I normally ignore 99% of the racism and microaggression I face in life day to day, and even laugh at their ignorance. We even discussed this before. But does being strong mean that people are entitled to try to hurt me? Because I usually don't let them? Does it mean I would not appreciate to feel the support of my boyfriend having my back? Don't strong women deserve being supported by their loved ones and feeling safe and loved? Well, he couldn't answer this. I told him that I never want his sister in my life again, or his uncle, and probably not his mother either if she still wants me to apologize. I don't want to surround myself with people like them, especially when I have children, and I asked him if he's willing to live with like that. I asked him not to answer me now, just think about it. It kind of felt like an ultimatum, and that's bad, but I didn't know how else to handle this situation. I never thought of myself as someone who's petty or that makes ultimatums. This experience taught me that I'm both. Oh yeah, and thanks for the not the a-hole judgment in the original post. Alright guys, that's a crazy story to start off with. Here's the top comment. It is always, always, always appropriate to embarrass a racist. Always, and while you're not likely to cure your sister-in-law, perhaps she'll think twice before communicating such ugly thoughts in the future. Not the a-hole. Guys, I agree. Let me know your thoughts on this story and how exactly what you would do if you were stuck in this situation. Drop your thoughts down below, and the next story on the day is titled, Am I the a-hole for letting my 7-year-old daughter call my husband daddy against the wishes of her biological father, aka my ex? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. If you are, go ahead and tell me about it in the comment section, and we'll go ahead and jump into this next story. My ex-husband left me when I was 2 months pregnant. When my daughter turned 4 months old, he married his current wife. I met my husband when my daughter was 2 years old and married him when she turned 3. My daughter is now 7 years old, and I have a 3-year-old son with my husband. My ex has 2 daughters with his wife who are 6 and 4. My ex has an every other weekend visitation with our daughter. Now, my daughter used to call my husband Poppy, but ever since the birth of my son, my daughter has started calling my husband Daddy. That's why I call my husband when I address him in front of my son. And my daughter has kind of picked up on that. We never told her no because my husband loves my daughter and thinks of her as his own. He stayed up nights taking care of her and times that she's been sick. Now, she doesn't have the same relationship with her stepmother. She's always called her stepmother by her actual first name, and it's always been that way, even though her stepmother has known her for longer than my husband. Here's why I'm wondering if I'm the a-hole. The other night, when me and my husband went to pick up my daughter from her dad's, my daughter ran out of the door happily saying, "Mommy and Daddy are here. I'm going home." When my ex heard he addressed my husband as Daddy, he then turned visibly upset. Later, when we got home, my ex blew up my phone. saying that I was emotionally abusing my daughter by making her call another man daddy, and that I needed to make her stop. I said that our daughter has all the rights to call my husband daddy if it makes her happy. He then asked me how I'd feel if he made our daughter call his wife mommy. I told him that if my daughter hasn't called her mommy after 6 years of knowing her, it's because she never wanted to. I said it's not my fault if our daughter feels closer to her stepfather and actually loves our family together. After saying that, I hung up. The next day, my ex-mother-in-law called me accusing me of parental alienation. This is honestly just messing with my mind. My husband loves my daughter. Is it really bad if we let her call him daddy? He loves it. And in fact, he always says he has 2 kids. Okay, so this comment got a lot of attention. Let me know what you think about it. Based on your description, not the a-hole. If he wanted to not have competition for the term daddy, then he should not have gone out looking for competition for the term wife while she's still married to you. Alright, so let me know your thoughts on that and the whole story in general, and we're going to look at our final story of the day. Am I the a-hole for no longer making toys and furniture for my former sister-in-law after her new husband called them an embarrassment? My brother died before his first newborn child was born. Because of this, I've had an above-average involvement in my nephew's life. One thing I've always done is build him toys and furniture. It was always a way of providing without the awkwardness of handing over money. Also, between my late brother's cash and life insurance via work, a trust that was set up, it was a trust set up for my nephew. 500,000 euros. He wasn't actually married to my sister-in-law. Now, via the lab at work, I've made him a lot of wooden or 3D printer toys, but also some simple handmade electronic toys. My sister-in-law was always grateful for these, and my nephew, by all accounts, loved his toys. Fast forward 3 years, and my former sister-in-law's getting married. I was attending my nephew's 3rd birthday, and I turned up the night before to assemble his present. It was a small climbing frame / swing set. I'd watched better carpenters than me in the lab make it. The new husband was a little standoffish, but came to the day of the party. He was telling anyone who listened that I did not pay or make the present. I had lackeys at work do it for free. This culminated in him calling all my presents an embarrassment, and given my fancy job, I could afford to splash around some cash. I confronted him and my former sister-in-law. She basically confirmed that whilst the presents were appreciated, she honestly expected more direct support from me after my brother's death. My mother stepped in and reminded her my brother paid for this house, and they regularly take cash out of the trust, about $10,000 a year. We walked out without hearing any worthwhile response, but I continued to see my nephew without incident. 6 or 7 months go by and I'm visiting, only to be told by my former sister-in-law that she's pregnant with twins, and she's wondering if I could make some duplicates of items I've made for my nephew, as they needed 2 sets. I scoffed. Said she had balls asking me to make stuff after all she said that ungrateful stuff, and I owe her unborn child very little. She got upset and explained her prior statements about my handmade gift, and said she felt they were kind of little things someone did as a favor, not what a family provides. That's why she's asking me now as a friend to do her a, quote, favor, and manufacture duplicates. Well, I guess you can guess it. I said no. Again. And her husband shouted through that it did not matter. They would just use the trust to provide for kids like it's supposed to be. I retorted that it was for my nephew, and good luck accessing it, for the trust requires my signature to pay out. I wasn't even home before he was calling me to apologize, clearly unaware I held the reins to my late brother's money. The apology was insincere, and I asked to speak to my former sister-in-law, where I confirmed again I would not be manufacturing her a thing. I'll still be an uncle to my nephew and be impartial when it comes to her accessing my nephew's trust. But her husband has burned a lot of my goodwill with this one. Am I an a-hole for not doing her a favor after all that? Not the a-hole. First, my condolences on the loss of your brother. Your sister-in-law is beyond entitled. She lives in a house for you by your late brother and benefits from a trust, and then has the galls to criticize your gifts to your nephew. Outrageous. Guys, what do you think of that comment? I do agree with it, and it looks like a lot of people do too. So let me know your thoughts on this, and also go ahead and click that subscribe button so you never miss these updates. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.